One of the big challenges with form arrays is efficiently managing event listeners to ensure optimal performance and seamless user interaction. In the following case study, we are going to uncover two strategies to fetch data from an API whenever there is a change in the items of a form array. I'm bringing this to life with a real-world example. I will guide you through each approach and break down which one will benefit your code design and web performance. So grab your coding hats and let's get started. To dive into the technicalities, we'll step into a practical scenario. I will begin by navigating to the Create Custom Field Set form. Here, after I click on the Add Field Class button and select the field class, observe how a GET request is triggered and sent to the API. When I select the second field class, additional requests will be sent. Now we'll dive into the fun part and explore two different ways to send these requests to the API. Pay close attention to how each method affects the application's performance. So let's check first how the current requests are sent. Here we have a form array. Here we have an autocomplete. And inside this value changes, which is attached to the form array, whenever a change in the form array occurs, this event get outputs for field classes will be emitted to the parent component. The parent component will catch it here and it will call the get output keys for field classes from the store service. So let's check the current behavior first. I will close this form and open it again, and we will count the number of API requests that will be sent. First, I will click on Add Field Class. I select an item, one request is sent. I click again. After the second click, I just have a second form field in my form array, but I haven't selected any second field class. However, another request is sent to the API. After selection of field class, more requests will be sent. So here we have 4 requests. When I click on Add Field Class, 2 more requests are sent. So as you can see, whenever I click on Add Field Class, more requests are sent. And the reason is that there is a change in this form array. That's why the content of this value change event listener is executed. But the expected behavior is that the API request should be sent to the API only after a selection of field class. Let's see now how can we fix this problem. I will remove the event listener to the whole form array. And instead of it, I will just add this event listener. I will attach it to the autocomplete. So after an option is selected, I will call the onSelectFieldClass class method. And what this method should do is actually just retrieve the list of field classes from the form array and give them as a parameter to the emit event. Previously, the list of field classes was also retrieved from the form array, but just the moment when this emit event should be triggered, it was not quite correct. So I will comment this again, and now I will just use this event listener, which will be triggered only when an option is selected. Let's check the behavior on the browser now. I need to click on Add Field Class, no request is sent. I click again and I click again, no requests are sent. But when I select Field Class, so there is an error because I have 4 items in my form array, but they are not all filled with data. That's why I need to adjust the logic in my onSelectField class. So I can filter the items in the form array first. So let's check the behavior on the browser now. Let's add more empty items, and so I have only one item. Let's add more empty items. Okay. Okay, now the request should be sent correctly. Yes. So let's close the form and open it again. Okay. And with this, we have fixed our problem. So what you need to keep in mind is just that you need to attach logic, like in this example, in the right place in order to avoid an increase in the number of the send requests to the API or some performance problems because of the number of the event listeners that is much more higher than what is expected or wanted. Here is a summary of the differences between using the value changes event listener on the form array and the new approach with the onSelectItem method triggered by the option selected event in the mat autocomplete tag. The differences are quite significant in terms of design and performance. With the original approach on value changes, the value changes event listener on the form array is triggered every time the value of any form control within the array changes, or even just when a new form control is added to the form array. This means it responds to any changes, not just the selection of an option in the autocomplete. The event listener doesn't differentiate between types of changes. It might react to irrelevant changes, which could lead to unnecessary executions of the logic inside. This is quite not efficient, especially if there are other types of changes happening in the form array that do not require fetching data. With the new approach on option selected, the onSelectItem method is specifically triggered by the option selected event of the mat autocomplete. This ensures the method is only executed when an option is actively selected, making it more targeted. The method directly focuses on processing the selected options. This makes the code more straightforward and easier to maintain. By responding only to the selection events, we avoid the performance overhead of reacting to every minor change in the form array. This can be particularly beneficial in forms with the high frequency of changes. By limiting the response to just the option selection, there is less risk of triggering unnecessary processes or side effects from unrelated form control changes. To sum it up, the new approach tied to the option selected event of mat autocomplete is a better practice in event-driven programming, especially in complex forms. And that wraps our dive into optimizing form event handling in Angular. Remember, the right approach can turn a good code into a great one, boosting performance and simplifying your development process. But what we have explored is just the tip of the iceberg. Intrigued? Well, this is just a glimpse of what's packed in my Web Performance 101 video course. If you are eager to dive deeper and transform your web performance skills, don't miss it out. Join over 30K students who have already embarked on this journey to mastering the art and science of web performance. Check the link in the description below and see for yourself what all the buzz is about. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit that like button, share it with your friends, and subscribe for more insightful content. Stay curious, keep coding, and I will see you in the next video.